Hello friends and welcome to 2025. Today I'm going to be doing 25 books for 2025 and I'm inspired to do this by Meg's with Books. She does something very similar where she picks out the number of books for the year that she is interested in or wants to read, and that's pretty much what I'm doing here. So basically I compiled a list of 25 books that are most on my radar and most want to read this year. It's a list mostly of books I already own that have been sitting on my shelf for quite some time or just recently purchased but haven't gotten to, but I'm very excited about. There's a few new releases and there's a few that I don't own, but yeah, I just have a whole list of books that I've been waiting and ready to get to, and this year, in 2025, it feels right. So, let's get into it, shall we? I think we shall. First up, books that have been on my TBR cart for quite some years now, and the only reason I haven't read them is because I'm afraid that they won't hold up to the original, but that is kind of silly considering the series as a whole is so freaking beloved. But yeah, 1 and 2 is, take a hint, Dani Brown and actor Evie Brown. This is book 2 and 3 in the Brown Sisters series by Talia Herbert, and I was obsessed with Chloe Brown. I was obsessed with Get a Life Chloe Brown. I was obsessed with her and Red. I loved their love. I loved everything about that book. So yeah, the only reason I have not started these is because I'm terrified that I will not love them as much as I loved Chloe and Red. But like I said, everyone has such high regards of this series as a whole that I feel like I'm just doing myself a disservice. So I need to get to them. I just need to get them done, and these are my big goals, is finish the series out and finally fall in love with Dani and Eve, because I know I will, and I will, I'm sure, fall in love with the people that they choose to be with. I don't think I really have to go over what these books are about. Most readers already know them, but basically the series is following 3 sisters, Chloe, Dani, and Eve, and their romances. They're going to all find their person, and we're gonna find that little love story in it, you know? Of course, we get to hear all about them falling in love. So yeah, that's book 1 and 2 on the list. Let's move on to the next books. The next one I don't actually own a physical copy of. It's on my Kindle though, and that is Slewfoot, Tale of Bewitchery by Brom, and this one has been on my radar for a while just because of how much it is beloved in the reading community, but also I love a historical drama and weirdness. So basically this one is set in the colonial New England. Yeah, so it's basically a tale of magic and mystery, but we're following Abatha and her survival in the Puritan world, and basically she also makes a witchy creature friend, and how they decide to live and move through the world they live in. Basically that's all I know, and that's all I need to know. But yes, this one I'm excited to read. I got it on just recently on Kindle Unlimited because I got a free trial or free months, and I've never really used Kindle Unlimited, but I saw that and I was like, whoop, in it goes. So I'm excited for that one. number 4 and 5, another continuing slash finishing of the series. I only own actually one of the books though, and that is because I read, so just like with this series, I read Chloe Brown as a library book, so I don't actually own her book, but I will change that. I need to complete the series so that I can put it up on the shelves. But along with this next one, same thing. I just picked it up randomly at the library, fell in love, and got the second one immediately. But I never read it, because that is a reader's life, I think. Anyways, so book 4 and 5 are going to be European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman by Theodore Goss, and also, what is the third one? The Sinister Mystery of the Memorizing Girl, and that is book 2 and 3 in the Extraordinary Adventures of the Athena Club. So basically this one, you're following a group of girls who have kind of come together and found each other to solve a mystery with the help of Sherlock Holmes and what's the other one? Dr. Watson. So the story, the way this is written is so fun too, because they break the third wall. And I think that is so unique and fun in the story. And I remember the first one being hilarious. And I'm pretty sure what's going to happen for me for both this series and the other series that I was just talking about, the Brown series, is I will buy the set and then read them as the set. For some reason, I love to do that. It's just fun. It just feels like a flow. But yeah, when I originally bought this book, the reason I didn't get to it right away was because it was kind of a chunker and I was intimidated by it at first. But then this past year I read Throne of Glass, and I read the entire series, I think within 3 months. And if you know those books, you know that they, especially the last like 3, solid. That last one, I think it's almost 1,000 pages. And I think this one is only 600 pages. So this is gonna be cake work, and I'm very excited to get to it. So 2025 is the year, I guess, of finishing series, which is important. Next up on the list, number 6 is a new release. It's coming out this month. And so that one's going to be Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, one of my favorite horror authors. And I really like to go into books as blind as possible, and when it's certain authors, I do just say, you're mine, baby. But this one is an automatic read for me because it is Grady Hendrix, but I do know that it is about a house of unwed mothers and the creepy, scary stuff that has that. And Grady Hendrix usually always has a bit of a paranormal aspect to it normally, so I'm assuming that's gonna happen. But yeah, I'm very excited about that one. I believe it comes out on January 11th, and I will be getting it as soon as possible. Next up on my list is Sin in the Second City, Madams, Ministers, Playboys, and the Battle for the American Soul by Karen Abbott. This is a non-fiction, and it is about the Everland Club in Chicago, and it's one of the most famous brothels in America, and it's basically telling the story of what that brothel did to history, what it did for women's history. And yeah, if you have watched any of my past videos, you know that I do a podcast called Paying For It, and it's all about the ladies of the night and our history, women who were badasses. The Everline sisters are one of the top badass bitches out there, and I don't know much about their story, but I've had this on my cart for a very long time, and 2025 is the year to finally get to it, and I'm very, very excited. So this one is going to be read fairly soon, and if you're interested in their story, I highly recommend you go out and check out my podcast, and I will link it below, but it will not be out yet because I clearly haven't read it, but it should be out shortly. Just follow my journey. I will be doing a reading vlog on this. A reading research vlog is what I'm thinking about calling them, or coffee and research. We'll find out. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to get into this. So yeah, there's that one. All right, up next is number 8. Let me fill up my page. I have it in order. And that's another one I do not own, but it's Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. And basically this is a cursed found, or not a cursed found footage, but a cursed film. And it's you, I think, start the book off following a group of young filmmakers, kind of like not traditional filmmakers, and they spend a few weeks in a creepy little location. The movie that they make, it becomes a classic in the horror genre, but the weird thing is that only 3 actual scenes of the movie got released. And so then after like big Hollywood kind of gets a hold of it and wants to do a big remake, basically. I don't know why I forgot what remake was, but they want to do a remake, and they dredge up some things that they probably shouldn't have, and it's just supposed to be a creepy, cursed film, and I'm living for it. I'm here for it, and I'm excited for it. Okay, the next book on my list is another in a series, and that is, this book is Full of Spiders by Jason Pargin. Now, this is book 2 in the John Dies series, or the John Dies at the End series, and I have read the first one. It was so weird in the best ways, horror comedy in its best ways too, and so if that name sounds familiar, there is a movie on the first book, but you know how it goes. Movies do not compare to the first book. The first book was wild and trippy, and I am assuming that this one's going to be just as wild and trippy. However, I will tell you, I have no idea what this one is about. I am going to go in blind as a bat, because I feel like that's the best way to go into his books, because they are so weird. So that's one on my radar, and I can't wait to get to it. Also, a few of my paperbacks got bit by a kitten. Love that. He's over there napping now, but he is a naughty boy when it comes to papers. So you gotta keep the books, especially paperback books, away from that one. Thank you very much, Travis. Next up on the list, number 10, one that I do not own, and it's The Warm Hands of Ghost by Catherine Arden. This one is basically following a Great War now combat nurse, and already that would be a hard life, hard to see what you would see in as a historical war nurse, you know. Modern medicine wasn't a thing. But anyways, she's a war nurse, but she's also searching for her brother, who is a soldier, and he is believed to be dead and then pronounced dead. But as she's getting all of his stuff and uncovering and searching, things are not adding up, and so she is determined to figure out what the hell is going on. And people love this book. People love Catherine Arden, and I'm excited to get into it. All right, let's move on. Number 11 is Rouge by Mona Arard, and I love her. She will probably always be a forever just add. She is just someone I trust because of Bunny. I thought Bunny was just a fabulous book, and so I'm excited to get into this one. This one is basically following a dressmaker, saloon, like she's not actually a dressmaker, a dress shopkeeper pretty much, and she goes on a downward treacherous spiral into trying to achieve youngness and beauty. So I think it touches on the beauty standards of the world for women, and I'm here for it. And also the cover, don't know what it is, but it's stunning, and I also really love the back, like the mirror. So yeah, I'm very excited, and also I love the texture of the book. So yeah, there is that one. Number 12 is another one I do not own, and it's Monstrilio, and it's by, I'm gonna butcher this name, so I'm just gonna try the first name, Garado, and then I'll have the rest up here. I would do a disservice even trying, but this one is basically following a little boy who turns into a monster, and then the people who love the little boy, and then all of its monstrous behavior and forms. So I think the premise is very interesting, and I hear great things about this one, so I'm excited to check it out and get into it. Also, the cover has a little freaking monster goblin, and I kind of love it. I'm kind of obsessed. We all need a little monster goblin in our life, and so yeah, I'm excited for that one. Let's move on to 14, and oh sorry, I don't know how to count. Let's move on to 13, and that is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Dust. And first of all, look how cozy that cover is, and the purple painted edges. The cover is just so freaking cozy, and I know that this book is supposed to be very cozy as well. It's cottagecore at its finest, full of stolen spell books, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter love. So that's all I need to know. I mean, first of all, I would have probably picked it up no matter what because of the cover, and I love a sprayed edge, but the idea of it, and also that's a cat with wings, and I love cats. Give them wings and I'm sold. That's all. Sold. That's all I needed. I am sold. So I'm very excited for this one. This one will be great for just a little cozy time, relax, and yeah, relax and recover really. And then the next one is 14, right? Yes, and that is Wild Love by Eliza Silver. This is book 1 in the Rose Hill series, and this is a romance, of course, and also love the texture of this book. Basically, this is, he's in love with his best friend's sister, has been for years. He cannot touch her though, because of course it's his best friend's sister, and now she needs him, and I believe she'll be staying with him, so you know, tensions, and the spark will spark, and fire will be a flame, and we're here for it. People love this one. I can't wait to get into it, and another series started pretty much. Because as we go into this year, it'll be 2025, the year of finishing series and starting series. But hopefully starting and finishing all series, we'll see. That's a lot to ask, especially for me. Anyways, moving on to 15, which is, oh, don't have this one. It's the Archive of the Forgotten. This is by A.J. Hawkwin, and it is book 2 in the Hell's Library series, which is basically about Hell's librarian who watches over and keeps the books of the unwritten. And it basically, if an author didn't finish the book, it goes to Hell's library, and it's all about her adventures of trying to keep those books safe and recapturing the characters that try to escape. And I loved the first one, and I cannot wait to get into the rest of the series. Moving on to book 16, and that is The Gods of the Woods. Another cover I really like, just because the dripping pink paint, it doesn't feel like it fits in the woods, but I'm here for it. This one is basically about a teenage girl who goes missing from a summer camp, and the thing is, the teenage girl is the daughter of the family who owns the summer camp, and as the camp counselor is trying to figure everything out, family secrets and stuff starts to come out about said family and what may have happened to teenage girl. So that one just seems interesting, also very loved in the book community, so I'm excited to check this one out. Next one up is another one I do not own yet, and I believe this is a new release. I'm not actually sure when it's going to come out, so let me real quick check that out. She was semi-prepared, but not fully prepared. Okay, comes out June 3rd, so we have a ways to go for this one. But that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is another Forever Ad author. I have not read a single book I didn't love by her, so I know that I'm down for it and I'm ready. But the premise of this one is you're following a girl in STEM in the 80s, and she is going to do everything she possibly can to get into the NASA program. But when she gets there, things are, of course, not any easier for her, because it was never easy to be a female in STEM. It's still quite not easy to be a female in STEM. So I'm excited to see how Taylor Jenkins Reid tackles this topic, and yeah, I know it's going to be a good one, and I know it's going to have a beautiful story, so I'm here for it. On to the next. We're on to 18, and that is going to be Phantasm, let me say it right, by Kylie Smith. This one is a dark romantasy. People, I think, really freaking loved this book, and it's about a necromancer who needs help from a phantom to win a competition where the #1 rule is don't fall in love. So of course you're gonna know that they're gonna fall in love, and things are gonna get spicy, and things are gonna get dangerous. We love it. We love it, we love it, we love it. I don't know how I feel about dark romances. I've only read like 1 or 2, but I think I've read bad ones. I mean, people love dark romances. I just don't know if I'm not there for it. We'll find out. We'll read this one and we'll see what's up, okay? We'll see. And maybe I've just been reading the bad ones, but this is also a chunker. It has a solid story, and I believe this is the first in the series of, yeah, I'm right, Wicked Games. So this is book 1 in Wicked Games. Another series started, but lucky for me, I think this is the only one out in the series. So if I don't finish the series this year, I don't have to make myself feel bad for no reason, because ain't nobody else making me feel bad about it. Okay, we're almost there. Number 19 is The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle, and this one is another romance. I think it's a romantasy, and this one's an enemies to lovers, which is my favorite freaking trope, okay? So enemies to lovers, Dagger and the Flame. This one you're basically following 2 assassins who are rivals, of course, and they're going to be pitted against each other in a dangerous game of revenge. And this is a, guess what, you guessed it, another book 1 of the series, and it's the City of the Phantom, #1, and this is the first in the series, and I believe along with the other one, this is the only one out at the moment. So why not just finish some series just to start some more series? And this is my year of fantasy, I think. Like, well, as we get closer to the end of this series, you'll understand what I mean. But fantasy and romantasy, I think I'm into it. I never thought I would be into it, but I think I'm into it. The girl's into it, okay? So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for all of these, clearly. That's why I'm talking about them. But yeah, I'm here for it. Number 20 is The Familiar by Leah Bordeaux. Leah Bordeaux? Man, don't know how to say her name, but she will also be a number forever ad author because Ninth House. And yeah, that series, what is it called? The Alex, my God, now I have to look it up because I don't know what I'm talking about. What else is new? Alex Stern, now I figured it out. Okay, the Ninth House and the Alex Stern series. Obsessed. Dark academia at its finest, at its weirdest, and yeah, I love it. But anyways, that's why she's always going to be on my forever ad. And this one is called The Familiar. Literally, her books are on the back of it. Praises for Hellbent and Ninth House. Wow. Anyways, this is The Familiar. It is a historical fantasy. Told you it's my year for fantasy. And it's going to be in the Spanish Gilded Age. The Familiar, we're talking vampires here. The Familiar is usually the vampire's second hand. And they're always usually hoping to be turned into a vampire, but I think our Familiar has a little bit of magic that when her mistress finds out about it, starts wanting some things from her. That's all I know. Going into this one pretty blind as well, which is kind of how I love books, how I love to read a book, clearly. But also saw this, another sprayed edge. Yes, and it's black. Ah, I love it. Anyways, oh, I just opened the back and look at this, the pomegranates. Okay. I believe it is a gothic novel, and yes, we're ready for it. Yeah, so that's 20. The next one is ones that I do not own, but it's because I'm going to buy a box set. And that is going to be finishing out our list. It's also starting a series and hopefully finishing said series. So 21 through 25 is going to be Agatar by Sarah J. Maas. A Court of Thorn and Roses, and that is book 1, 2, 3, and 4. I read Throne of Glass last year, and it was my first Sarah J. Maas book, and I will tell you, it took my heart out, destroyed it, put it back together, or at least attempted to, shoved it back in and then said, go on, live your best life. So clearly I have some trauma from that, and I can't wait to get some more trauma from her next series. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I heard that this one's more of a, I don't want to say party, but more of a party? I don't understand how else to say it. Another series I'm going in very blind to. So I don't even really know the premise of it, but I know as readers, y'all are either screaming at me that it's not a party, you don't understand, you've made mistakes, or you're like, yeah, compared to Throne of Glass, it's a party. And yeah, so that is my list for the top 25 books I want to get to in 2025. And yeah, I hope you'll be here along the journey. I hope I'll be here along the journey for these books. I hope I actually get to it, you know? We'll see. We shall see. Because you know, a reader always has a plan, but is the plan ever any time actually accomplished. Most of the time, I would say not. But we will try. And I will see you again soon, first of all, but we will revisit this list towards the end of the year. We've got a long ways to go, and we'll see how well we did, just like Meg does on her channel. And I think that's fun, and I think that's exciting. And so yeah, I'm excited, and I hope you will be here along the journey. If you haven't already, you should subscribe and come along on this bookish chaos with this girl. Yeah. And let me know what some of your top picks of the year are going to be. And I will see you very, very, very soon. And until then, I hope you have a great day. And bye-bye.